So I've been going recently, trying to, every so often go to the Mahoning Drive-In, and recently they had their third annual, I don't know if annual is the right word, they had their third, what they call the Wild World of David Lynch event, and I went to that. It was the third time I went to the drive-in. First time I went to I went to an event called Want to See Something Weird, event with the American Genre Film Archive and Something Weird Video. Second time I went to see part of their Thursday Thread Up series, an entry in that called an entry in the Thursday Thread Up series, and I went to see the Terry Gilliam, I think that's a Gilliam, adaptation of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas on 35mm, and at this, the Wild World of David Lynch, they played 4 films in total. I saw 3 of them along with my mom. It was incredible. Ray Wise was there both nights. The actor who played Ray Monroe, whose name I'm forgetting, was there the first night. Richard Green was there. I believe he was there both nights, but he was doing signings just the first night, and he played the magician character in Mulholland Drive, and also directed a documentary called, I believe the title is I Know You, Catherine the Loglater. So it's some combination of those words, but it's about the actor who played the log lady on Twin Peaks, and it seems like a fascinating documentary. That's a thing that I didn't see. In part, nothing against some we guys
Like, I am happy you are looking in this direction, but I mean, come on, look at like.
I don't know why I turned the light on, because the radio has a pretty good light, kind of. But you're seeing this movie for the first time, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me?
Yeah.
And do you know anything about the movie?
No.
Okay, that's I guess good enough. And then the trailers are gonna. Films that were played were the first night, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. That's the 1992, both kind of prequel prologue and epilogue sequel type movie and related to the original first 2 seasons of Twin Peaks. And that was it's like a real it's a really there are things in that movie that are really serious subjects, and it's just such a kind of a devastating watch, and it's just such a powerfully, like, this well done movie, and just it's incredibly off-putting, but it's still very much in, like, it feels like an episode and a half of Twin Peaks, but like the most extreme up until that point episode and a half of Twin Peaks, up until, you know, some of the stuff that, like, The Return goes even more, and just I feel like The Return is probably the best thing. Twin Peaks The Return is maybe the best. I'm gonna stop playing with these keychains. So that's for later. I feel like Twin Peaks The Return is probably the best singular piece that David Lynch had a part in creating. And before I go further, that was night one. It was incredible. There was so many moments in that film just experiencing with a group of people. Some were more enjoyable than others. Jacques Reno, perhaps the world's most perverted French-Canadian bar proprietor in fiction. Not really, but maybe in the running. No idea. There's not been studies, and there never will be. Next up, we have some shirts that I got from the event. This is an event shirt. I'm currently wearing a Mahoning Drive-In shirt, but this is a shirt for the event, Wild World of David Lynch. I believe it's kind of stylized to be in a manner similar to almost looking. I don't know how quite to describe. It's not exactly the diner from Twin Peaks, but it has a. It seems like it's going structurally for that vibe in a sense, but you also have posters for Mulholland Drive, Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me, I Know Catherine the Log Lady, Blue Velvet, a plate of fries, kind of too many fries, half and half or creamer packets, in a bowl. One is not in the bowl. Kind of describing details that are the donut hole instead of the donut. Speaking of the donut, not these donuts, but that's David Lynch, or at least an artistic rendering. You couldn't probably even see any of that, could you? Well, it's a great shirt. Black on reddish pink. I'm struggling to quite describe the hue. And then on the back it says the Mahoning Drive-In. Then I got from a group called Dry Rot a Mulholland Drive and Twin Peaks original series shirt. And all of these are XX. And this, especially the back of this shirt, it's just so fascinating. You've got all these images from the movie, Justin Theroux, the guy who played the arm, Monty, Hank Montgomery, Richard Green, Rebecca Del Rio, Nicole Kidman, I'm blanking on. Laura Herring, I'm so sorry. But it's a really well done just design shirt. I don't really have any or really many movie shirts, and especially just the back Silencio. That's just, it's gold. And this is a shirt for, I believe, Twin Peaks, the original series, so stuff from the first 2 seasons. I really love the back, but the front's great, directed by David Lynch, Audrey Horne, Dale Cooper, the super FBI trooper. And on the back, it of course... God fucking damn. And on the back, it of course says Who Killed Laura Palmer. And it's just lovely design, great stuff. I love to add things like that to my shirt collection. But speaking of things that you could add to your, I don't know, life, this isn't really a giveaway in theory. This isn't gonna have like giveaway in the title, and it's really just for anyone who's watching this video. But Connor, if you're interested in this cherry pie keychain that on one side says Mahoning, and on the other says Lynch, and it doesn't exactly have like any cherries or anything. It's just like red, and it's the implication of cherries. But if Connor, if you would like this keychain, comment below, and if Connor comments below that he doesn't want the keychain, then in theory I would do a giveaway. So if Connor comments below, I do not want this keychain or any such thing to that sentiment, and you have seen this and see that comment, which isn't probably gonna happen because that's a keychain, and it's really not even worth it does. But if all of that happens, you can comment, can I have the keychain? And if more than one person comments that, I'll do a random drawing of like writing it in a hat, much like one of these, but not this hat. Maybe this hat. So night 2 at the Mahoning Drive-In we stayed for both films, and that was a first. And it was a lot of fun. Got in really late because they start playing films and they do intermission material. And it should be noted that besides the 4 films, they also played 2 Woody Woodpecker shorts. They played the first night Smoked Hams, both for applause. And on the second night, One Horse Town, both for booze. But on the second night, they played, of course, Mulholland Drive and Blue Velvet. And Mulholland Drive is, it's a very strange movie that, not strange in a bad way, it gets very dreamy, which is incredible, and I love when it gets dreamy and all the dream stuff in the movie and just everything about it. I love the Winkies, I think that's the name of it. I just, Ann Miller has like a sort of nebulous role in the movie, but it's another just powerful movie, but it's not as forthcoming with some of its things. Not things is a bad way of describing it, but as a movie, it just doesn't seem as forthcoming as maybe Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me is, and that's kind of just in just a very oblique way of the material in that movie. There's some stuff that you, even if you're David Lynch, you kind of, I don't know, it's like you can't be too, that could just be, I don't want to read too much into it, but Mulholland Drive really just goes into just this lingering kind of space, and I still haven't seen Inland Empire, but to me at least, there's just stuff in Mulholland Drive that's like the most that it like just gets in terms of Lynch's feature film work of just lingering and odd, and it's just beautifully twisted. I don't know how to describe it. It's a hell of a film. Billy Ray Cyrus is in it, and he credits that film with without him having been in that film. He says Hannah Montana wouldn't have. There's a linear track from Billy Ray Cyrus being in Mulholland Drive to Hannah Montana. Which is fascinating. But then Blue Velvet is sort of the films, which is strange to say, but of the films, Blue Velvet is sort of the most straightforward. David Lynch films are David Lynch films, and to kind of try and pigeonhole genre define them seems to defeat the point entirely, but you can at certain points and in certain respects refer to Blue Velvet as a little bit of a neo-noir, and I really love crime pictures, neo-noirs. I also kind of just love thrillers and just weird psychological fucked up things, and all of that's really present along with many of David Lynch's other things, but there's just this creeping darkness just lingering under everything. It's just such a, it's a great movie, because there are movies that I really love that I don't always want to rewatch, and Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me is definitely one of them. Mulholland Drive is definitely one of them. Blue Velvet is a film that I don't know how to. I really enjoy it, but I don't want to be watching it too often, and especially with that film, lose the impact of a character like Raymond.
The fucking road, Raymond. Come on, we're gonna go for a joyride. Come on.
Like an unnerving kind of terrifying of someone like on cocaine and wants to kill you.
Get on with it! Anyone want to go on a joyride with us? How about you? Huh? Hey.
Although that's not quite the best description. But there's this specific, like, this energy with Frank Booth that's just, it's this palpable, I don't even know how to describe it, but there's, of course, this iconic scene where Dean Stockwell's character, I believe called Ben, we gotta go see Ben! He has like all this, he has this like white face kind of makeup on, this very, it's this weird outfit. He has a cigarette kind of filter holder type thing, very like, he looks like Adamant. I don't know how, he just looks like Adamant. I don't know if you know who Adamant is. It's not a, I don't really know who the fuck Adamant is, but he looks kind of like Adamant. And there's this famous scene in the movie where he sings, well, not even sings, he mimes singing into a light Roy Orbison's In Dreams. And I don't know if this is necessarily true, but there's a, I don't know if this is the sentiment that I'm about to express is true, but I feel like people don't necessarily like keep in mind that there's like a point where Dennis Hopper's, the Frank Booth character, just kind of gets like, it's like visibly upset to where it's like, I'm gonna, Dean Stockwell's Ben just to stop singing, just like this. It's just fascinating. There's a lot of these intricacies and just weird. It's and all of these films just have just this profuse and beautiful use of dreams and just so it's words never quite seem adequate when it comes especially to David Lynch films, but I mean motion pictures in general, there's a lot of, you know, feeling that's necessary, and there's a lot of feeling David Lynch films. You know, people could very much be disinclined to watch them because of how visceral they can be in terms of some of the material. Blue Velvet has, I don't know why I love Dennis Hopper so much. I know there's other people, Kyle MacLachlan, Laura Dern, Jack Nance is fantastic in the movie, Dean Stockwell, of course. Megan Mullally was in the movie and was her all of her scenes were cut out. But Kyle MacLachlan's character is named Jeffrey Beaumont, one of the most freaky odd Jeffs in cinemas. Well, in cinema, period. But there's a thing with, there's a lot of, occasionally there are movies that I feel like it would be very funny if you played to someone like Sigmund Freud. Dennis Hopper, Dennis Hopper as Frank Booth's first line in the movie is, "It's Daddy, shithead." And then something to the effect of, "Where's my bourbon?" He is constantly huffing nitrous. It's very strange. The thing with Fright Booth is that like he has this gang, and he's like seen as this cool guy, but like if you actually spend divorced of context any time with him, he's just insufferable and terrifying, and he's mean and weird. And Dennis Hopper's like the perfect guy. In 1986, he was in a lot of. 1986 was I don't know, banner year, but I think 86 is the year of River's Edge. I know it's the year of. I believe it's the year of Hoosiers. With Gene Hackman, Dennis Hopper had a supporting role in that, but the 80s, there's a lot of really interesting Dennis Hopper performances, and it was just such a weird film to see with my mom. Isabel Rossellini, fantastic performance. Yep. I genuinely forgot what I was about to say.